Change up?
Yep.
Change up ground ball to Bella.
Bella out. You got tackled, right?
I didn't know what to do. So first thing I do is because I'm watching Bella make the play.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already turned around.
Yeah.
Usually the pitcher goes towards the catcher, apparently. And I'm already turned that way, and the first person I see is Dez at shortstop. So first person that comes running at me is Dez, and Kaylin comes tackles me behind me. But yeah, it was my first dog pile ever.
First dog pile ever. It's pretty cool stuff. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Catching You. Co-host here, Rusty Ham. In today's episode, you're going to hear Lacey's experience with the World Fast Pitch Championships. This was her first experience with the media. She was being interviewed by people. She was on national TV on Fox. And I'm going to include the YouTube link to the game. Pretty cool stuff. But my question to you is, all this media exposure good for 12-year-olds? She got hyped up because she was real good. She was, player of the game. She got interviewed afterwards. But I guess, again, is this too much for a 12-year-old? So that's my question to you. If you watch the video of the game, you can hear the parents in the background. We were just fired up, and the parents had a good time. And after the tournament, the girls had a good time as well. But again, is it too much for a 12-year-old? So hope you enjoy the show. Take care. Hello, and welcome to Catching You, a dad and daughter softball journey. I'm Rusty, a dad who's been in the dugout and on the sidelines.
And I'm Lacey, the daughter whose journey through softball has been filled with incredible wins, tough losses, and so many lessons both on and off the field.
For the past 16 years, we've navigated the highs and lows of softball together, from the local fields to national tournaments and everything in between.
From the challenges of recruitment during COVID to the mental and emotional roller coaster that comes with being a student athlete, we will be sharing the perspectives of both a parent and athlete and firsthand experience of the impact of sports on mental health and the importance of support from the sidelines.
We're diving into the very beginning of our journey by sharing Lacey's childhood stories and what the start of our learning process as a father-daughter team looked like.
Whether you're a young athlete dreaming of playing softball, a parent trying to support your child in sports, or just someone who loves a sports story, we believe you'll find something relatable and inspiring in our podcast.
So, how do you know if you've given enough to your sport or to your child's passion? Stick around as we explore these questions and more. You might just find out the answers in our journey. Welcome back, everybody, to Catching You. I am your co-host, Rusty Ham. With me is my daughter, Lacey Ham. Lacey, how are you?
I'm good, Dad. How are you?
You're not good. You're lying. You are exhausted.
I'm good. You can be good and exhausted.
Okay. Yeah, so you got back to school. You've been, some 2-a-days there for a while. Today is Sunday. We're recording this on a Sunday. You practice on a Sunday.
I did at 11 to 2.
11 to 2.
11 to 2, and I practiced for about 45 minutes of it.
Right. I was gonna say, we're gonna talk about your second year 12, and those Sunday practices were probably much harder than today's Sunday practice, correct?
Oh yeah, 7 hours on the field. Just brutal, honestly. Brutal.
It was brutal. Speaking of that, so we're second year 12s. We just got ranked. I think we're coming back from Christmas break, and it's go time, right? You're not in high school anymore, so there's no dark. You don't go dark because you're in middle school, right? So it's go time. We're gonna win a national championship, and you guys are preparing. So we didn't play probably as many tournaments as we did in the past.
More friendlies, I feel like.
Yeah.
Get live experience, but tournaments we weren't really big on.
Yeah, and in fact, I think one of the bigger tournaments before we started the major ones in the summer, I think it was a Mother's Day tournament. I don't know if you remember that. We came in second, and Chris didn't take that very well.
We don't take second place, not here.
Nope.
Nope.
And on our next episode, when we get into PGF, we'll talk about what we did with the trophy. But so we're knee deep in practices, these 6 and 7 hour practices. And those of you that are listening, these are 11 and 12-year-olds that are doing 6 and 7 hour practices on Saturdays and Sundays. And
It's just
again,
3 hours of defense and then 3 hours of hitting.
yeah.
It's
Well,
just
don't forget too that you did agility training in the beginning, right? You would do ladder drills, you would do jump roping,
mhm.
and then you would do base running, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just to start the practice, right? And then
Base
you would get into fundamentals and all that kind of stuff. And that was part of the reason why I resigned from coaching, because um, I, if I was still coaching, I wouldn't have been there to watch you grow into the player you are today. During those practices, I helped out, and it was just awesome to watch you during those practices because they were growing, right?
Yeah.
But it made you tough, right? Do you agree that kind of made you tough as a person?
It did, and it made it, like, really sink in that it's, like, what a priority working hard for what you want is. So, like, nothing's ever given to you, it's always earned. So, that all those practices, like, made me feel like I earned something.
Right.
Yeah.
I know, and those practices weren't easy. So
Yeah.
it's to your point is these are super hard practices, fundamentals through and through, and it just made you tougher, right?
Right, 'cause
Um,
some girls, I mean, you hear now, like, "Oh, I just don't wanna go to practice, because 'cause you're just thinking about the whole day and how it probably will go, and, like, if people aren't on the same page, people could be booting balls, and you're gonna be running the whole practice. Maybe it depends on what mood your coach is in. Like, you never know,
yeah,
but then, like, you still gotta go. And then but, like and what I'm trying to say is, like, people still show up. It's those people that still show up after saying, I don't wanna go." But you still show up because you wanna do it and you love it.
right.
So,
I read your door this morning, and I just I walk by your door every once in a while. I don't know if you know what the quote on your door said. What does this quote on your door say? Do you remember?
it's from, Soul Surfer, one of
Yeah,
my favorite movies about Bethany Hamilton,
yeah.
but I don't
I
remember.
don't. I don't need.
I don't need easy, I just need possible. There it
Right.
is. Yep.
Yeah. So don't give me easy. Just give me possible. Right. So it kind of reminded me what we're talking about now is that um, what you earned, and during this tournament, what we're going to talk about, it wasn't easy, but it
No.
was possible. Right. It was possible. You got the chance to compete in a championship game, and we'll get into that. Um, the tournament was called. It was really long. Do you remember? We were off camera, but so do you remember what it was called?
It's called it was called the USSSA Elite Select World Fast Pitch Championship.
Right, super long.
Yeah, very new.
World Fast Pitch Championship. So WFC, I think, was the the acronym. And yeah, USSSA at the time, they were around. They were almost similar to ASA, right? It was like ASA, USSSA, Triple Crown. I think most people that are listening probably understand what Triple Crown is. But USSSA, I think there was a move to try to get away from PGF and have that be the national championship. That's why they call it the World Championships.
Yeah.
I don't know why they call it the World, because it was just teams from the USA. But anyway, go ahead.
I but I mean, we're gonna talk about this, but it was just the experience of it all that made it seem so much bigger than what PGF was ever like. And was it their first year doing it something like this?
Yeah, it was the inaugural, right? We
Yeah.
were, and so And I think I don't I'm not sure if we were the only SoCal team. We were one of the few, but
Mhm.
all the Batbuster teams, I don't know if you remember all the Batbusters, the 12U, the 14s, the 16s went, and the 18s, right?
Yes.
And we'll talk about that at the very end. But um, and so I think Stith was helping them maybe try to make this a legitimate tournament. Who
Mhm.
knows? I think it only lasted a couple of years, and then I think it switched over to Alliance. The same girl, Jamie, right,
Mhm.
started this tournament, and then now she's in charge of the Alliance tournament. So same concept, right? So describe why it was different. You just kind of alluded to it. What was different between this tournament
Mhm.
as opposed to maybe a PGF or an ASA tournament?
So there was like a meeting with all the teams,
Mhm,
right? Kinda like how pin trading was.
mhm,
Um, so we got to meet all the teams, before we started playing, but it was very heavily media based. So there were lots of cameras, lots of, social media, like interviews, um, after every game. There probably was, like, a player of the game that they would pull and interview afterwards. And then the championship game was to be streamed on live television, and that was really cool for, a 12-year-old like me because I just thought I was some celebrity, basically.
right. And
Yeah.
and we gotta distinguish. It wasn't necessarily stream because stream would be it was actually on it was like on Fox, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's on Fox TV, like Fox Sports or something like that,
Yeah.
which was huge, right? And so everybody back home was watching it, and yeah. What I remember, there was a female. She would go to the different games, and she would interview, like you said, they would interview, the coach. They interview players after the game, and then they would have you like take selfies. And then this is back in 2015.
When I was 12.
So I think hashtags were like just coming out, right? I don't know if they were like
Yeah.
so they were like, "Hey, take pictures and then, do hashtag, whatever at the time."
Oh, yeah, yeah, I didn't have social media at this time,
Right. Yeah,
so I
you weren't allowed.
so I wasn't, with the my teammates would take the pictures, post it with the hashtags, and they would post it on their social media.
Yeah. Did they ever make fun of you for that?
Oh, dad, I was made fun of for, like, my life, like, my whole schooling life, that I never had any of this stuff, like, all of high school, I didn't have Snapchat, and it was the biggest thing when I was in high school, and I just said, "Yeah, I don't have it."
And guess what? Guess what?
What?
You're still alive. It
I'm
didn't kill
still
you. It didn't kill you.
it didn't kill me, and now, at my age now, it's slowly dying out. So,
Yeah,
it's kinda weird,
that's right.
and I've only had it for a few years, so
That's right. So anyway, so this tournament, and a lot of the teams that were in this tournament don't go to PGF, right? Because PGF is in Southern California. A lot of those teams are not traveling. Maybe they so there was different teams. There was teams that we normally would not play, right? We're
Mhm,
always playing the same teams, right? And I mean, everyone listening will understand that sometimes you travel and you play teams that are just like a half hour from you, right? But you're in a different state. This was different. We went to Kansas City, and we're playing teams like the Birmingham Bolts. We're playing Texas Glory,
mhm.
and Atlanta Vipers. Remember that Atlanta Vipers game? That was a pretty cool game. Um, so these are and these and these are good teams. It wasn't like
They're very good teams.
because everyone says, "Oh, SoCal," and no, these are good teams, right?
I mean, I was always especially with, like, the southern teams, like Texas, Oklahoma, like, they're built different over there. I don't
Mm,
know what it is, but they're just built different, and they're taller, and they're stronger, and, I mean, it was just crazy to me,
yeah,
especially, like especially as I got older. It was
yeah,
just even more crazy. Yeah.
they don't mess around.
They don't.
Um, So I mentioned Birmingham Bolts. So last week we didn't know who the number 2 ranked team was. I think number 1 team was Tennessee Mojo, again, who we faced in the finals of 10U. The second ranked team was the Birmingham Bolts, and then it was us, the Bat Blisters. So the Birmingham Bolts were at this tournament, and when we arrived, I think we played 2 or 3 scrimmages prior to
It was
they,
like
they
2.
yeah, because what they did, because PGF does that too, right? You play because they want, if you're gonna travel that distance, they want you to get games in, right?
Yeah,
So
you're not gonna go all over. We're not gonna go to Kansas City, play 2 games, and then leave.
yeah,
Like, that would be terrible.
yeah, you're not gonna travel 2,500 miles and play 2 games, 2 and out, right? So you play these scrimmages. So our first game was against the Birmingham Bolts. So you got the number 2 team in the nation versus number 3, and just a scrimmage game, but not to us. It was not a scrimmage. It was like, hey, we need to set the tone. We gotta show them that we are the number 3 team in the nation, right? What
That did
happened?
that didn't end up happening. We just got pummeled. Um, and so after that, it was I just remember being so, like, I wasn't scared, but it wasn't a great start to a big tournament that we, like, wanted to win. So that's where we ended up going to practice after our games in the parking lot.
Say that, you practice. Say that again. I want to. What happened?
We went and practiced in the parking lot so we could be better for the next games. So I don't remember much about these practices, but I just remember hitting wiffles in the parking lot, and we had to wear tennis shoes, like, it was like a practice, like, live practice,
Yeah,
like how we would do back
and
then.
you conditioned. You ran,
Oh, yeah, we were
and it was not cold.
it was I don't even it was so hot. It was 90s, maybe 100s with humidity, kinda like if you've been to Florida for that ESPN tournament thing. I personally, I hate Florida because of the humidity, but Kansas City was on a whole 'nother it was on a whole 'nother level that week. I don't know
Right.
what it was.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the movie Miracle when they played the game and they didn't play very well, and then he says, and then he goes, "Hey, get on the line." He says, and he blows the whistle, "Go," and they go back and forth. Kind of maybe it was kind of similar to that, right? You guys didn't play very well. I mean, you did. It might have been jet lag. You never know, but you guys didn't play well.
Mm,
Um, and so yeah, you guys practice in the parking lot. And he's making you condition. He's not playing around, right? This is
yep, and it's still, no soda, in your beds by 9,
yeah,
all the general rules, basically. No swimming, of course.
right, yeah. Well, the soda thing's gonna come into play later, but yeah, definitely no soda, no candy, no swimming. This is a business trip. I think he said that multiple times. This is a
It
business
was always a business trip, I feel like.
trip. Um, so there's media, right? You're getting interviewed after games. I don't know if you remember the Atlanta Vipers game. That was a
Yeah.
pretty intense game. And they were good.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of leading up to some of the games in the tournament now, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. Like, I feel like it shouldn't have been so close. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing I got from that game. It shouldn't have been that close. We
Well,
should have
their pitcher was really good. Like she had this really nasty curveball, kind of like you. It was almost carbon copy because you had a really good curveball and changeup, and she had a really good curveball too. And she is big. She was a big
yeah,
girl. She's really tall. Um, but we ended up winning 1-0.
off a blooper behind first base.
Yep, a little duck fart over the first baseman.
That was the crazy
Little
I've never seen M be so excited in her life. Like,
Yeah.
that's the most emotion I've seen her have in my whole entire life.
Yeah, and it was weird because it was 0-0, and I think it might have been ITB or extra innings, or it was maybe the last inning,
Yeah.
But yeah, she hits a little blooper, and I forget who was on second. I think it was Rubio.
Might have
And
been.
she scores. She scores, and you guys were like all looking at each other like, "Did we just win? Like, I don't know what happened." You guys are just like in shock, and then all of a sudden,
Well, because that was like a quarterfinal game or something? Was it?
it was like second round, so it was pretty close because then quarterfinals is that next game against the Birmingham Bulls.
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, that made us play the Birmingham Bulls.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a big game. It was 0-0. You know, luckily we had the last at bats, and we were able to manufacture runs because that's what we were known for, right? Manufacturing runs, right?
Any way possible. I mean, if you can get it done, then you can get it done. But maybe a little earlier in the game would be nice.
That would be nice, yeah. But you guys were known for that. You guys were known for not scoring a whole lot of runs.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it was great too to see Emily get interviewed, right?
Yeah.
Right, because she was a role player. She didn't she wasn't, like, flashy, she just did her job, she just kicked butt.
I mean, yeah, we
And
talked about leadership last episode, and I mentioned, like, the quiet leaders that do it from their, like, performance, and you just, like, feel it from how they work and how they perform, and that was Emily for
yeah,
sure.
it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to have her see her get interviewed, that was really cool. Um, yeah, because most of the time, it's gonna be the pitcher or, somebody who had and that's the big hit. That was the big hit of the game, which was a duck part over the first
Yeah.
baseman.
But those are the ones that get you. I mean, it gets my team right now all the time. And sometimes
Yeah,
uncontrollable, like, it drops where it drops, and, like, everyone's giving full effort to go get it, but it just drops.
those are impossible sometimes.
Yeah.
Even I mean, I know you guys the last time I saw you guys practice, you guys were even practicing that, and still, it's just
It's just
couldn't.
yeah.
So that game put us in the quarters against the
Okay.
number 2 team in the nation, Birmingham Bolt, a little rematch of our first game, and they were coming in pretty confident, right? They're the number 2 in the nation. This is a quarterfinal team. We just beat the Bathbusters, and again, that first game, I think we lost 7-1 or 8-1. It was not good.
It was pretty bad.
Um, I mean, he yanked you. I think after the second inning, he just said, "Screw this," and he just yanked you. But
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
quarter, yeah, but the quarterfinal game was exciting. We talked about 10U. I don't know if you remember 10U. We talked about um, the excitement around impact goal, the
Yep.
parents, and how the parents got into it. Well, we got into again. We huddled around and we're like, we got to cheer these girls on. This is it. So like every play, we were just hooting and hollering and cheering, and then you may not remember the game, but
Don't really know.
it was just Bella Garcia had a crucial 2-run. I think it was second, third. She had a crucial double in the gap, and it just we were just going going crazy. They made it like 6-2, so and we just felt real good because you were. I mean, at this point, you're dialed in as far as pitching. It's like if we scored 3 runs, we knew we were gonna win. We
Yeah.
just knew. Like, 3 or more runs, it's like the game's over, right? Because you were pitching really well at this time. Your curveball's on fire. I think your screwball, I think you started implementing the screwball a lot more, and then your change was still nasty. So that takes us to the semifinals against, do you remember who you played?
No, the only really thing I remember about the semifinals is I started getting blisters on my fingers
Mhm.
from pitching so much, and I didn't know what to do. And I remember or mom remembered that my pitching coach, Susie, always said, like, to put super glue on the blisters or second skin or something like that.
Right.
So she went to the store and got some, and I remember feeling, like, this does not feel right. So I took it off. I just kept pitching with the blisters. I didn't care.
Right.
It's like, I'm a big feel pitcher, so if it doesn't feel right, cut it out, right? And there was just this big bump on my finger from
Right.
the glue, whatever, and I started pitching with it, and I said, "Nope, take it off." Couldn't do it.
Right. I think it was Texas Glory.
Was it?
Yeah. But yeah, you're doing well. However, this game you weren't doing. I mean, you gave up 2 runs, but it just felt like, I think we got away with certain things. You weren't pitching real. I mean, you're just exhausted. You pitched so many games at this point.
Yeah.
Um, but we're up 3-2. They have a girl on second. You don't remember all this, right? It's all probably a big blur. I
So
remember all of this.
well, that's good because now you can
Yeah.
come
So they
again.
had a runner on second. We're up 3-2. Uh, this is, they are the home team. So this is bottom of 7.
Mhm.
That she hits a single.
With the runner on second?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Who was right field again? Rubio?
It was either Mia or Rubio.
Rubio, right? So she rounds second, throws it home, and we tag her out. And the game's over. You don't remember that?
The runner that hit the single.
The runner on second was trying to score.
So
And
we
it was one of those short singles into right field, and Rubio
threw her
threw it,
out.
and Caitlin tagged her out. And we were going
We're going on the ship.
because we're going to the ship, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to this stadium that it's all turf, right? It's just, so we're going to the ship. So it was just, a really great feeling. The parents are going crazy. We're yelling FSU, FSU, right? FSU.
I got in trouble for that.
We'll talk about that in just a second. But yeah, we get to the world championship. This is the inaugural. So we're the first game, right? 12U. We're the first game. And
Cameras everywhere.
cameras everywhere. I mean, cameras were center field, both sides, behind the plate,
They were
announcers.
on the field while I'm warming up. Like the camera is at my feet while I'm trying to do my walk-ins to warm up.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is not to look into the camera?
Yeah. And
Especially at 12 years old.
I think what I'll do is in the show notes, I'll put in a link to the
Yeah.
in case if people want.
It's all on YouTube.
Yep. Yeah, cameras everywhere. And quite, it's funny because not as funny, but all bet busters were in the finals, right? 12, 14. And 14s, I don't know if you remember, both the second year 14s and the first year 14s
Played
same
each other.
time against each other. That's how good the 14s were. And again, if some of you guys don't know, these first year 14s, there's probably 3 or 4 girls from that team that are on Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean,
And there's one girl from our team that ends up going to Oklahoma. So the Batbusters are a pretty good organization. 16U, you don't hear much about 16s and Batbusters, but they were there. And then Stiff and his 18s were there too in the finals. Coincidentally, we win all of them.
yeah,
We still have the Batbusters won every single championship.
Yeah.
Including ours, right? We play Georgia Impact. Very good team.
Very good. Big
Right.
girls.
The big girls, good pitcher, the catcher. I forgot her name, but she's. It's on the tip of my tongue. I don't want to disrespect her because she was good.
You know more than I do.
Her last name, I know they're Williams, but
Yeah. But they're sisters.
Ellie was her name.
They're sisters on the team, yeah.
Yeah. And so they were good. They were coming in. They were playing well too. Their pitcher was playing. So this was going to be.
Do you remember the first inning where she hit a double off the wall?
I did. Yeah, because you got mad at me one time because I introduced you to her. I go, hey, Lace, you remember this is the girl that hit a double off you and you got pissed
Well,
off.
why would you say that?
I don't know, because I'm your dad. I'm an idiot.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
You're welcome. So great game, right? Close. I think they scored first, and then we scored. We made it 2-1, and it was two. And again, Emily, quiet hero, right? She steals second. She sees that there's nobody on third, so she runs the third pass ball, and we score and make it 2-1. So because of her base running, and we worked on base running all the time, right? Wasn't that something that we focused on?
Yeah. I mean, aggressive base running is very crucial, especially with young teams, I feel like, because, I mean, some people aren't paying attention.
Right. And
Most teams
they weren't,
aren't paying
and they
attention.
weren't. And she took advantage of that. She ended up taking a couple of bases just free like that. And then and the parents are yelling FSU, and I don't know if you want to say what FSU meant. Well, we got in trouble, right? The
I
higher
think,
ups bat
I,
busters came by and told the parents, "Don't say that anymore."
well, because it was being streamed on live television and you're telling a bunch of 12-year-olds FSU.
Yeah.
But we
So
didn't care.
no, we just because we had that attitude, we had that Ronda Rousey attitude. We're gonna FS up, and we're gonna FSU. We're gonna F.
It up.
We're gonna FS up, right?
Yep.
Um. So super exciting. Um. What do you remember? What pitch you threw to end the game?
Change up.
Yep,
Change up ground ball to Bella.
Bella out. You got tackled, right? This is kind of the first
Yep.
time, you know.
I didn't know what to do. So first thing I do is because I'm watching Bella make the play.
Yeah,
Well, I'm already turned around.
yeah.
Usually the pitcher goes towards the catcher, apparently. And I'm already turned that way, and the first person I see is Dez at shortstop. So first person that comes running at me is Dez, and Kaylin comes tackles me behind me. But yeah, it was my first dog pile ever.
First dog pile ever. It's pretty cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You got player of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the big trophy ceremony at the end. Pretty cool stuff, right? And then
Post game interview.
oh, that's right. There was a post game interview. They
Which
interviewed
I thought,
you. They interviewed Lex, Kaylin.
no, remember on the TV one, the
Yeah,
individual one,
yeah.
where you're like, yeah, you shouldn't have said that.
Did I say? I don't remember what you said, but
No, because I said, what did I say? She asked me a question, and then I said, this is just the beginning. Now we have PGF coming up in a few weeks, and we're getting ready for that. And you're like, you shouldn't have mentioned PGF
oh,
because they're trying to outdo PGF or something
oh,
like that. And I was like, well, too bad. I don't care. We want a PGF.
yeah. So anyway, so we get back to the hotel, right? We're celebrating, and this is where soda comes into play. So parents are celebrating as we,
I mean, mind you,
you
they
know,
celebrated every single day.
right? This is extra. We extra. I smoked a cigar. Like I don't smoke cigars, and I smoked cigars at night. Um, and we celebrated, right? We always celebrated in the lobby typically, but this time we celebrated out by the pool. What
Hmm.
were you guys doing?
So while the parents were out and about doing their own thing, of course, the girls had to celebrate on their own. So we went down to the kind of where they serve breakfast, and we got a bunch of cups, and there was a soda machine, like free reign for anyone to take it. So we got all these cups, and I swear, my whole team was holding at least 2 or 3 cups of soda, different sodas, like Mountain Dew, Diet Coke, Dr. Pepper, Sprite, Fanta, any soda you can think of. And we went back up to one person's room, and we took the side tables by the beds in the hotel room, and we put it together, and we set up little triangles with our soda cups. And
What were
we
those triangles for?
soda pong.
Soda Pong. Okay, yeah.
Soda Pong. So, and then someone had Skittles, or like we got Skittles from downstairs, and we would throw the Skittles into the soda cups. And I don't remember how much soda I drank that day, but it was a lot.
It's probably the first time you drank soda in probably years. I mean,
Uh,
I'm sure you had a couple of sodas here and there, but
I mean, you would always be like on special occasions, yeah, sure, but any other time was no soda.
yeah.
But we won, so free reign.
So who cares? This is our time.
And it's
All
so
right.
because now I'm in college, and that just makes me laugh really, really hard. Soda Pong. And
Well,
we thought we were the coolest people ever.
you were. Well, you were. Um, so yeah, so next week we're gonna get into PGF. We're still in second year 12s. The reason why we're sticking with 12 so long because of that tournament and the relationship of the parents. We just had a really tight knit relationship, and we're gonna get into after PGF and what happens. But it's just these girls have been together since 10U. A majority of these girls have been practicing together for 4 seasons now, right? Second year 10, first year 12, second year 12. So it's just like, and then some of these girls were even first year 10s, right? I think there's probably 4 of the girls. So 4 seasons you guys have been playing together, competing at a really high level. We're going to get into PGF, which is, the creme de la creme of tournaments and, and how that ends up. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I would have gotten into more, like, mental stuff if this tournament, because I did pitch every single game the whole
Yeah.
week, but I just don't remember. Like, I think at 12, you're not really thinking too much about that. You're just going out there and doing what you know how to do. So but I knew, like, going back to, like, the working hard, I knew that I worked hard enough to get to whatever place that was. Like, I knew I could pitch 2 or 3 games in a day if I really needed to for my team, and it ended up being successful. So I don't really remember the mental aspects that I had. I just remember being physically prepared because of all the hard work that we put in and just going out and doing it, really.
Yeah. As a father, your mental stuff kind of comes in a little later when, you we'll get into, changing teams and recruiting. That becomes more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is, I think you were on a good team. And when I coached, I always, when we practiced, I always wanted them to practice harder than they would in a regular game, right? Then the game just comes easier, it just comes natural. And that's where you guys were. We talked about it early in the episode. Your practices were grueling, but then you got into a game and the games are hour and a half. And you're
Yeah,
like, hour and a half, this is no big deal. We we done 6 hours straight, and now you're doing an hour and a half. So like it wasn't a big deal, which is cool. And that's kind of where your mentality came from. It's like work hard, do the fundamentals, practice as hard as you can. And then when the game comes, it's just it's go time and have fun, right?
right. Yep, to just go back and not, think about anything when I pitch, just it's crazy to even think that I was even at that stage. Because now I just can't even stop thinking about things. Wine goes 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. All right. So we'll get into PGF next week, and then we're starting to get into camps now. So the colleges can look at us again. She's only 12, but we're getting in front of colleges at this point for some reason. Oh, I know why, because they were recruiting girls in 14s.
Yeah, I remember the day that, I heard a catcher committed to Florida at his, at in 6th grade.
That's right. I remember that.
Like, I remember telling my friends at school, I'm like, "I don't I wouldn't be able to make that decision right now.
Right.
Like, how am I supposed to know where I'm gonna go to school in 8 years?"
Okay, those of you that are not going to watch the YouTube video, she was counting on her fingers how many years it was.
I didn't think I was good at math. I'm a psych major, okay?
Yep. So, all right, Lace, gotta go. I love you,
Love you.
and we'll catch you on the other side.